Hey everybody, it's Patrick with P-Dub's Crypto World. So today I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about a strategy I've recently been using. So today I want to tell you why Profit Trailer is such a powerful tool. When you look at all the information it gives you, it does its trailing, it does its tracking, it keeps identification of your different patterns. I'm using an EMA, low BB, and an RSI. I like the RSI. It's a really big indicator for me on crowd opinion of what is going on with the coin, whether we're buying, selling. And let's just look at a quick little setup I'm looking at here. So PIVX showed up in my log here. So it's got a low BB and it's got a very low EMA. So I actually like this. So I am looking at what I have available here right now. 0.143, and I'm going to make sure that I'm good in here. 0.142. Get that saved up and make sure I'm still good at an entry here. So my value there is very low. So I want to take advantage of this. PIVX is what I'm going to go ahead and buy, and then I'm going to explain to you why. Just because I want to get it, I'm going to take it at market value. And we see price here on Bitcoin is 33.5. So now I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing it and doing it this way. So I do see that I made my PIVX buy. I just got my Telegram notification. So we could see I bought it on market, and that probably wasn't the best approach to that, because it was going to have a low order book, I'm sure. But I'm looking at PIVX, I'm looking at its volume. That's decent volume for me, and I'm looking at its downslide here. It's very low on the RSI, the EMAs are lining up, and it's very low in the Bollinger Bands. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm looking for patterns. I recently just started doing this on this account last night. So let's go look at my buys here, and I can tell you what I personally did buy, and I'll tell you why I did it this way. So I've manually done these 4 buys: Nano, DOT, LRC, and PIVX. And then we'll go to my log. I let Rune, REN, I let Profit Trailer buy these for me. Now, Profit Trailer will take whatever setup is given to it within the parameters. And that's good, because to me, I see it as a way of looking for specific things. So AVE and XMR, those were some that were left over from the last drop from 42,000 down that finally came back. ZEC was one of those as well. Actually, most of these. And you can see here with my .LRC, even Nano, these were ones that I'm putting my full account in. So you could see here by the value, 0.008, 0.01, 0.01. These are where they've grown up. So I'm putting in, and I'm getting a very good return with a 1.6, 1.7, and that's why I'm looking to do this particular thing, because the goal is, if some of you guys have seen some of my video early on, was trying to get 1% a day for compound growth. Now, I haven't taken any losses in here, but this is where you start looking at, oh, here's, $5, $6, and $5, and here's Dash one that just got, I shut the bot off overnight and it finally came back. But you start looking at those types of things and you see big plays. So you're not going to hit a 12.5%. You're not going to hit a 20%. These are freak things that happen every now and then, anomalies that come back. It looks like PIVX starting to make a little bit of a move back. And I'm looking for the growth that comes with these. And what that generally means is I can look at this and say that I grew my account by 1%. If I make this trade and I make that sell, then I grew my account by 1% today. So that's the goal, is 1% a day. So you don't have to be picking several different plays all the time, and Profit Trailer will scatter it all over the place. So if you're managing how much you are actually spending and bumping that, so this is going to be great for accounts that are smaller, because the bigger your buy is, as you've seen, for almost half a grand, I'm getting in there at a lower price because I have to buy through. So I'm getting a little bit of movement up there now, which is good because it's playing. I'm looking at the fact that I was trying to make a good buy, so I'm trying to grow this. Now, if I go and I look at my second account, which I've been doing this with quite a bit more, you can see that I'm doing much larger growth. So I've started doing this 2 days ago. I took my last sell-off when I was doing for some testing for dilution, and then I'm just running that on my test buy here, which is just all over the place. So I did my last sell-off there. Then I started doing manual buys and sells, and I was scalping at low prices here because the entries were what they were. So you're looking at, I'm starting out at $205 there, and this is 2 days ago when I started it. And then from that point, going on to the fact that I've constantly been doing this, so you see a lot of these manual sell-offs, and then this is where I'm leaving it alone and letting it do its thing. And you can see where I've started from was here at 0.069 and about $205 at the value, and I've just been growing it, and you can see all these sell-offs. And I let this one roll through the night last night, ICX, which was good. And I've managed to turn that 200 into 250. So I have about a 25% growth coming from this strategy of whole coin harvesting, where you see, I'm $2.50, $1.50, $2.50, $2.50. I'm looking at compounding my account 1% a day, and this is great for probably in that first $1,000 of your coin account. So, and let's look at the buying here. Now, when we're looking at the buying here, you can see where Profit Trailer was doing their thing, and you can see where it keeps its values. So I have an either low BB or my EMA and RSI gain that I'll buy on, and I'm looking at here, and you can see this, and a lot of these will get you stuck in things. This is great for when the process where you can buy any coin and it's going to be profitable. When the market is great, this you can expect that these are generally going to play out, because that's what happens. However, all these coins here were bought in the market dropping from 42,000 going down to 38, then back up to 39, going down to 37, up to 38, 39, and yo-yoing in that point where you have big market moves. So Profit Trailer, why you should be using Profit Trailer as a tool for understanding when is the best time to buy. When it's not a good time to buy, Profit Trailer shouldn't be buying, to be quite honest. That's my belief, is you shouldn't be buying when it's not a good time to buy. And when the market is all over the place, it's really hard to make a good buy. So you have to add a personal judgment in there on how you're going to handle that. And that's what I've done. And you can see all my manual buys that I made all the way from the first rune. And that rune I bought to just kind of work on the debt that my old coin was in. And you can see LTC, all of these are going to line up to those profitable buys that you seen, profitable sells that you see in my sales log. And it'll take it a moment here, but all of these things line up here, from all the way from Rune was the last one that I bought. And if you actually are in my Profit Trailer, my Discord channel, you can see where I was talking about these particular ones, because I bought, and even though I took losses on here, it still gained me almost 1%, because I bought a coin diluting it and sold it off at a loss to gain that value. And that's kind of a feature that I was working with and testing in a newer system that I'm working on. Some of you guys will find out about that later. But this is ideally going to be the best way for you to do. Now, here's what I like to do when I am making my buys. So I'm looking for Profit Trailer to go through. It's giving me indicators like vid here. It likes vid, and it's good on my, I would be buying this based on the fact that it matches my EMA and my RSI. So when I'm looking at this here, I have a buy point that Profit Trailer would say buy at, and we see it's negative 3 point something, and we're going to take a look at that. So when I go in here, look at this run up. It's been running up and then it's been dropping here. Is this a good opportunity to buy? We just seen the candle go green, so that might be the turnaround recovery. I see pivots up here at 12.8, 12.8, 12.13, so it's on the increase, and then Bitcoin's probably making a little bit of a change there that's allowing the tide of coins to change through, and that's good. That's what we're looking for. But this doesn't have a very strong buy opportunity for me, because the way the market is right now, when I'm looking at what Bitcoin is doing, Bitcoin's here at 33.4, we'll call it, and it's been fluctuating. It was 36 last night and 37 at some point earlier, a little before that. So we see coins are beginning to pivot up a little bit. But when you're looking at these kind of buys, so Bitcoin's here in this point, and I'm looking at a coin that's been rising as Bitcoin's price has been going down. So VID has taken advantage of that. If Bitcoin takes a sharp turn the opposite way, I have much more risk than reward. So this wouldn't be something that I would want to buy, because I'm in an uptrend pattern when Bitcoin is currently in a downtrend pattern. So that means if Bitcoin reverses on me, I am more than likely going to take it on the chin for vid here for a little while. It may come back, because that's what the altcoins do, especially if you have stronger altcoins. So when you start looking at constantly growing, my support is going to be down around here, and then as I break through levels, I'm starting to get to floors that start bringing up. So this is a short-term support that I could look at here that I wouldn't realistically figure that I'm going to fall down here unless Bitcoin makes a large move. And then at that point, well, it doesn't even have to be large, it just has to be noticeable. And at that point, I can expect that Bitcoin could possibly and probably go down into this range here, and that's a pretty noticeable chunk of loss for me to recover from. So I want to look at it objectively of my risk versus reward on when I'm making these purchases. So this right here would be a purchase that I would make that would have a very short profit. If I was going to do this, I'm not looking for a 1% profit. I'll take a 0.5% profit and move on, because to me this isn't the setup that I ideally want. I like setups where I'm in a downtrend pattern and I'm finding the lull. So I can see here that it's going to be a gainer over time. And I like to look at this on the 5-minute charts. And then if you go back and you look at this in a situation where you're actually making the buy that's not on the 5-minute chart, let's look at it on the 15-minute. And on the 15-minute, you can see that we're still down. And we've come from this cap when Bitcoin was at a much better price. So if Bitcoin goes up, we can expect that we're probably going to take a reversal movement, and we're going to go up on one of these steady curve lines. So at this point, we've got much more potential upside than we do downside. Even if you looked at this thing on the minute, you can see this downslide here, but these gains up that start looking there. So I don't like to look at the 1 minute, because I play the bigger game than that. So I'm looking at potential up here with supports around here. And that means if I can get a pump that's even a portion of this up here, I'm going to be sitting pretty decent. So that's what I'm looking for. And you can see I've started to make a little regression here. 12.3, 12.16 is what my buy at. And that's why buying market is very risky. But I'm confident in my ability for this to recover on a jump. You look at the size of these movements. That's what I also use, this wave of patterns. And if you see something bigger happens going up in these increments, so it's going here, and this wave is about the same from here to here to here to here to here to here, these movements. And those can also be tracked really heavily on the RSI. So you see the RSI right now is in the 13 to 20 range, depending on which particular module you're looking at. And you see a steady little gain here over X amount of time. And that's ideally what I want to be looking at, is I see the upward potential here, and that it's about time for it to start making its move back upwards. So this would be something that I would probably hold for 1% or more. So just kind of get an idea of how I'm making my buys using Profit Trailer as a screening tool, and then with the market being as erratic as it is, taking that information and then applying it to my own process in order to make the buys that I do. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it looks to be very effective for me at this point, because using it to screen the coins and then making your buy, I'm making my 1% a day right now, and the market is not calm. The market has been dropping, it's been rising, and I'm still doing this. So Profit Trailer as a tool that's going to make all the buys for you, that's great when the going's good, but when the going's not good, it doesn't do great. Obviously, there are people who have settings out there that just rock whatever market it's in. I'm a guy on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you that I've got the secret sauce. But this is what I'm doing for me to make gains. And this is a recent kind of restructuring of strategy to get that. I'm still using dilution because it's very, very powerful for losses. I don't like losses. I hate seeing, reds. These are all a bunch of reds. Those were things that I was doing when I was testing strategies for swapping coins, and well, more to come on that later. But I hope that you guys can find some value in this. I'm sorry it's a little bit longer, but I really wanted you guys to see in depth the way I'm going and discriminating against coins, because it's really important to understand when you can have a potential loss as opposed to a potential gain, and looking at your risk versus reward in those circumstances. And if you're looking at your charts, I learned from a guy named Zip Charlie from Trader U. One thing that you can learn from these is dealing with the amount of risk you have versus the amount of reward. I do not like to buy coins in this range. When they're finding new recent highs or overall total highs, it is really hard to make a good buy and feel confident that it's going to be anything more than a short move, because you don't know what the market's going to do. You've got every step along this way, you have past this point is a resistance point. And when you break resistance, it becomes a support. So when you break resistance going through here, it becomes a support line. But how, as you can see, when it finally did change, it went through the recent resistance and down. So then that resistance became, it broke through the recent support line, and then that support line became resistance here. And that's what I'm looking to make my personal trades on, and hopefully continue to gain my 1% a day plus. And don't be afraid to, if you decide to do something like this, to use a stop loss. If you take a loss at 3%, that'll hurt you, yes, but it's not going to put you in a negative 15 or negative 20% coin loss. And if you, worst case scenario, Look into some of my future videos. I'll have a swap loss situation for you on how you can manage your books to regain. There we go. Pivot's starting to make it's a little bit of a move back now. And you can start to look and see how things are going to play out. So hopefully you found value in this video. Hopefully you didn't mind my rambling and I explained it well enough. Please leave a comment down below if you're seeing, you don't agree with what I'm saying here, or your personal opinion, or have you tried this before? I tried this early on. I got away from it because I wanted Profit Trailer to make my buys for me. That's what I bought it for, so it could automatically trade for me. And unfortunately, it gets me in bags because my automatic strategies are not strategies, but my automatic buying, is not so complex that it does super well buying all the time. I'm not using a Profit Trailer feeder that switches up market conditions for me. Profit Trailer is great and it has some great tools out there, and until you learn to harness those, you really need to pay attention to Profit Trailer. Use it for the means of going and identifying your potential winners. Then, until you're confident in its ability to buy on a consistent basis and whatever market you're in, go and make those manual things. I don't think the Profit Trailer people mind you using their tool as a scanner, because you still paid the price and you're using it in the best way that you possibly can, and it's helping you learn your settings. Profit Trailer is a great tool and has great potential, but if you don't have good settings and you don't manage your account well, you are going to end up in situations where you're just not well off. So think about that when you're making your buys. Think about that when you're making your sells. Find your personal strategies for buying there, and then start looking into other ways to help prevent losses. Buying is only part of the game. If you're getting out of your sells quickly, well, it prevents you from taking losses on them, but it also prevents your profit price from getting, large gains. You're going to have to manage your ons and offs of what you're actually doing with your coin. So leave a comment below. Thank you for watching to this point, and we'll see you in the next one.